Do I leave it all behind? It's eating all my precious time. My head is in the clouds cause it's so heavy on my mind.
What's up, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok? It's your homeboy, The Identity Crisis, on behalf of Modern Mississauga Media. And I wanted to let you guys know about a cool little event that's coming to Streetsville this Friday, May the 29th. It's called About Laugh Night. It is headlined by one of Canada's brightest shining stars right now. You know him as Lionel from Workin Moms, and he's got a brand new comedy special that just came out called Citizen Nowhere. The one, the only Mr. Ryan Belleville. And of course, also on the bill is a good friend of mine, one of Mississauga's finest exports, one of the funniest guys I know, the one, the only Mr. Ricardo Mejias.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate this, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for joining me. So tell me about this show that's coming up on Friday.
This is going to be one of the greatest shows you'll ever see this Friday. Ryan Belleville, an incredible talent, one of Canada's best. And we got a couple other guys with me. Sammy Fareed, who's been killing it for the last few years. And we have another guy, James Cummings from Brampton, who's been absolutely killing it as well. It's going to be a great show, Paul, and I can't wait to perform for my local Mississaugians, the Mississaugiites. I don't know, what do you call us?
Mississaugians is what I've always heard.
Well, I'm looking forward to this Friday, man.
It's going to be a good one, man. Like I said, Ryan Belleville is one of my all-time favorites, and you're one of my favorites. And oh, by the way, the link to the show is in the description, so make sure you click on that. What can we expect from your act?
My act, a lot of self-deprecating humor. So if you are having a bad time right now, come and laugh at me. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to make you pee your pants. That's what I'm going to try to do Friday night. All right, so bring another pair of pants if you have to.
You've done a lot of stuff locally. You're kind of one of the pillars in the community here. And you've also dabbled in some shows internationally, overseas, in Europe and in the States. How would you compare the scene in the GTA to, I guess, overseas and in the States?
It is a little different. The States, when I performed in the States, it was a lot more like they're trying to figure me out because I'm like an outsider. Same thing when in Europe, if you're an outsider, so they're like trying to figure it out. But then you try to make sure your jokes aren't local. They can carry on to other places like London, England, and like Las Vegas. So you want to make sure your jokes are working everywhere, not just in Toronto. Toronto's more like a alternative scene, I feel, sometimes.
A little known fact, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I remember seeing a post that you did a set entirely in Spanish.
I speak Spanish, but not great Spanish. Like, it's not perfect or perfecto. I thought it was a good set. I was nervous as heck. Performing in a different language, making sure your jokes translate to a different language, it was a little tough, but it was a great experience. I loved it. I'm not gonna lie.
Would you do it again, or have you done it since?
I would do it again, but I would have to like practice a little bit more just to make the cadence work and everything run smoothly and not like I'm hesitating right now.
Right. Well, I mean, that gives like a whole new perspective to some of these acts that that come over here and the English isn't their first language and they blow up and they're so good with their material.
Yeah, I always respect those comics that come over, try it in a different language. I'm like, holy cow, man, like that takes a lot of effort and a lot of balls, really, because you're performing in Toronto where it's not a very forgiving audience. It's tough, but I give all the props to those guys who come over and try it out in English. I'm like, you're incredible.
Why don't you name me your Mount Rushmore of stand-up comics?
Of course, it's four completely different styles, Paul. Pablo Francisco, fellow Chilean, a lot of energy, an incredible amount of energy. You think he's on drugs all the time. Don Rickles, a master of crowd work, unbelievable. Mitch Hedberg, the king of one-liners. Last one would be a very controversial pick for nowadays, but I would say Mr. Dave Chappelle, who I've seen a couple times, and I just died laughing, rolling on the floor, slapping my knee. Very cartoonish. People in the audience were laughing at me for laughing that much.
That's quite the diverse mix. Mitch Hedberg's one of my favorites too, man. And so is Pablo Francisco. His album, Knee to the Groin, is such a classic, man. I grew up on that one, man. That's a great album. Speaking of albums, when can we expect a Ricardo Mejias hour special or an album?
It's still a couple years away. I see a lot of people rush their stuff, and it doesn't turn out too well. I want to make sure everything's fine-tuned, but I am going to make it an album because I don't think anyone wants to see me for an hour, Paul.
Jeez. Well, Ricardo, thank you so much for joining me. We're looking forward to Friday. I think you're gonna kill it, and I think Ryan's gonna kill it. I'm so stoked for it. I got a crew coming out. Any other shows coming up?
Sunday, I have the comedy bar. You can check my socials at Ricardo Comedian, and you'll figure everything out.
Awesome. Well, Ricardo, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you Friday.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you Friday, man.
I am joined by the headliner for Friday. He is known as Lionel from the CBC and Netflix hit show Workin' Moms. One of my all-time favorite stand-ups, definitely on my Mount Rushmore, the one, the only Mr. Ryan Belleville. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Thank you. The identity crisis. What a treat. I'm so stoked to be chatting with you today. And
Honestly,
thank you, Mount Rushmore. Who else is on the Mount Rushmore?
So my Canadian Mount Rushmore is definitely you, Norm,
Yeah.
Stuart Francis. I don't know if you know him.
I know Stuart, yeah.
Russell Peters, probably.
That's a nice group of people to be lumped amongst.
Who's on yours?
On my Canadian Mount Rushmore or just like comedy Mount Rushmore?
We'll do Canadian and then we'll do comedy.
Canadian, I gotta say, Deb Giovanni.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Edwards. I feel like Russell has to be put in there. I gotta say Ron James, just for like the guy's staying power. Like he keeps touring. He's getting a little bit older now, but like I just saw him not that long ago and he did 2 hours and just murdered his crowd. He's built his audience up. I gotta give him props.
Amazing. All right, Citizen Nowhere, your brand new special just dropped. I had the absolute privilege of being there live for the taping, and I've watched it twice since it's dropped. So I'm what you'd call a super fan. Tell me about this special, how much work went into it, how long did it take to write this material?
That material was probably like off and on the last 2 or 3 years, but ironically, the bones of the special probably was newer stuff. Like I had some older bits that I wanted to get out of rotation that I've been doing for a while, but there were some newer things that I just were top of mind. That because I talk a lot in the special about moving from Canada to the US, that was very top of mind for me because that was really new. It's always that thing, you want to get some older things out there, give them a platform before they kind of get cycled out of your act, and then some newer things. It takes time to put together a special, and frankly, I wouldn't do it if I didn't have like awesome friends who are like, why don't you record stuff? Like I'm very old school. I don't like social media. I just want to get on stage and perform. That's really all I want to do. And act. Like I just want to perform. And all the other stuff I have so little interest in. And then people are like, dude, you have to put things out there. And I used to yell at other comics like Derek Edwards and Mike Wilmot. And these people that everyone like super respects, but they just don't have a footprint out there. And in 10 years, I'll just be happy it's out there. You know, like it builds your body of work over time. Zoe Rabnett, who used to work at Just for Laughs, basically kind of shook me. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll put it out. Even if it gets 10 views and it's gotten a lot more than 10 views, you'll just get more and more views and people can go back and look, who was this guy? And they'll see some bits. So
tell me about the partnership with how did this whole production come to be?
I actually got approached by a few different kind of companies about shooting my special. They wanted to put more budget in and, you know, we'd have to recoup things. And then I talked to Gary at the Comedy Bar, and I've always loved Gary. I've known him for probably 20 years. I love what he did when he formed the Comedy Bar. He kind of jumps in with 2 feet and then figures it out as he goes. Like everyone thought he was crazy when he opened the Comedy Bar, but now it's kind of known as one of the best venues in the country. And internationally, like it brings people in. And he's like, I want to start promoting more Canadian artists. And I told him that at the same time, like, I want to do stuff about, like, I moved back to Canada. I want to promote the system and be part of it and really get behind Canadian artists. And he's like, yeah, I'm starting a thing called Comedy Bar Max, which is just all specials and shows and things focused on promoting Canadian talent. If you want to shoot your special, we can do it. I'm like, yes, 100%. He's not trying to take a huge cut or anything like that. It's just totally like indie project. And I'm like, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted to do. I recommend everyone goes to Comedy Bar Max. They're releasing a ton of Canadian specials and there's some great ones on there. And it's just a great way to see and discover new people.
Well, you can start with Ryan's special. The link is in the description, so make sure you check that out after you finish this video. We've got a bit of a history. I'm a long time fan, man.
I appreciate that.
I was doing some math here. I actually accidentally discovered your act. It was Comedy Now. You were on the season after the Russell Peters one. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so.
I was recording it because I thought it was going to be Ron Jossel, who's a buddy of mine as well. Russell's was an hour. I recorded an hour, and it was half an hour for Ron and half an hour for you. Does it sound about right?
So I was originally supposed to do an hour. And I mean, I was a baby comic. Like I used to be a street performer and improviser. So when I moved to Toronto, I kind of climbed the ranks really quickly. Like people are like, oh, this guy, where'd this guy come from? He's so new. Why is he climbing the ranks? But I'd already been doing comedy for about 5 or 6 years. But I got an hour special, which is 44 minutes. You have to do 44 minutes material. About half of my material was political. Like I talked about America. I talked about George Bush and a bunch of stuff. And I recorded pre 9/11, but my special came out post 9/11. So
Right.
they cut all the references to anything American. It was 9/11. It was a different time. So my special became like a 22-minute one instead.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
That's crazy. So they cut out half. There's still one joke in there that I still remember. That's because you talk about your parents, one being Australian and one being American. And that joke is still in there.
They send the criminals to Australia joke.
Yeah, there's that, but you also talk about how one was American, one was Australian. You're part crikey and you're part you're firing off guns.
Oh, God.
I showed that special to my crew like numerous times, and we still quote that to this day. So what is it? Did that come out 2002, 2003?
I think it came out 2001, late
Oh
2001.
my gosh.
Either late 2001 or early 2002. It probably was
Okay.
scheduled to come out like early 2001, and then 9/11.
So I've been a fan for 25 years.
God
Think
bless
about
you.
that for a second.
God bless you. I
And
appreciate
literally,
that.
we quote that. It was part of our ether. We hold you in such high regard, man.
I appreciate that. And it's funny because I definitely feel like I've evolved a lot as a comic. Like I was definitely raw, enthusiastic chaos, silly chaos when I started. And I'm still very silly, but it's a lot more focused than it was back then. But in some ways, you look back to like the young stuff and you're like, I don't know if it was better, but it was fun. Like it's like a different comic almost.
I've done the same thing. I've watched old performances of mine,
Mhm.
and man, I used to be like pretty erratic on stage. There's more like of an efficiency to what I do. I don't know
Right.
if you feel the same way about what you do.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm like, I sit there and go, I'd be flying by the seat of my pants in the early days. I'm like, I know I have these tent poles that are good laughs. It's like swimming, doing a marathon swim. I got to get to this one buoy so I know I won't drown. And if I make it to that buoy, I'm good. Whereas now I'm like, I can do a very efficient, very tight, way more laughs per minute, probably, but like way bigger laughs per minute. But there's something about the raw energy, which I've tried to get back to a little bit in the past couple of years, where it's like you want that balance, like being really, really focused and having bits that are tight is amazing, but also like part of why people love live entertainment is that little bit of magic that anything could happen, like that there's something. I try to keep that.
Buddy, like I said, we still quote caber toss. Ooh, a quarter. I don't know if you remember these bits,
I don't
man.
know. A quarter's the ADD thing, right?
Yeah.
What's the caber
Ooh.
toss? I don't even remember the
Oh,
caber toss.
it was essentially you're talking about how sometimes it's racist to do impressions of certain cultures, and
But
then
nobody cares about Scottish.
yeah, exactly. And then there's bat.
Yeah,
We
oh my
still
God.
quote
It's amazing the stuff you kind of forget. You're like, oh, right.
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 Well, actually, that's the other thing I was going to mention is that as a musician, when I drop a record, it's expected that I play those songs.
Yeah.
You don't have that benefit.
No,
When you drop a special, you don't have the benefit of going back into the bag. You have to be dropping new stuff.
you have to be putting new stuff out. Yeah, I think it was Chris Rock said, if you do an hour and somebody comes and sees it and loves it, and then you come back through town and you do that same hour, they'll still enjoy it because there is something fun about hearing bits do well and seeing how they go over. But they won't come back and see you again. So like I try to always, when I go to markets, I mean, realistically, the odds of it being 100% different, like if I'm going to there every year are lower, right? But I try to always go like, trying to make it like 50% different at least every time so that if I come back in 2 years, if you don't see me for like 2 or 3 years, then you're going to see a completely different act, 100%.
Right.
If you see me in like 1 year, you're at least going to see at minimum 50%.
Right on.
That's kind of where I try to go. But it's funny because you're like, there's the act and then there's like bits. And then the act kind of slowly falls into place. I did a theater tour, I don't know, 2 years ago. And I was doing generally like 90 minutes, maybe almost 2 hours, like, yeah, an hour to hour 45. And it got kind of set. It starts to form and has a flow. But like when I do stand up on stage, like I'll be like, oh, this is the 45 minute bit. But there's all these other bits that are always floating around that I kind of pull in or I'm working on, or something happens, it goes off, and it's kind of fun. Like it takes a life of its own. I got a whole bunch of new things that are like taking a life of their own, and sometimes I even forget to do them because it's like it's I'm in that phase. The special's out, and now I'm working on the new hour, and it's kind of crispy and exciting, and we'll see how it turns out.
I got to ask about the initial stages of your career. What was the goal? Was it comedy or was it acting or was it
Um,
music? Because I don't think I haven't seen your ability to plunk through some chords and play some melodies and
it's
you
true. I love
yeah.
music. I love actually the first thing I wanted to be was a musician. And
Wow.
then I remember when I was young, there was a kid who was he was a clarinet player in my school band, and like I did like the advanced music and all these different things, and played in jazz quartets. And his parents wanted him to be a doctor, right? That was the thing. Asian kid. His parents told him he's going to be a doctor.
I was just gonna ask.
Yes. And he's like, okay, I'll be a doctor. And he probably is. But then we were talking about perfect pitch and how nice it would be. He's like, oh, I have perfect pitch. And we are like, you do? And we like turned on the radio, and he just started playing this, whatever was playing on the piano. And it really bummed me out that there was this. I mean, this is a kid who just wants to do music. And then here's somebody who's literally a genius. They're gifted and they don't even really want to do it. And you're like, oh, even at my best, I'll never be as good as this guy who doesn't even want to do it. So it kind of bummed me out a little bit, which is a silly way to go. It's just about expressing yourself. It doesn't really matter. Some of my favorite musicians are not on paper the best musician, except for Prince.
Right.
So I want to do that. And then like performing. I just love performing. Like I love making people laugh because that's a defense mechanism when I was younger, and I still have that. But I just love being on stage. I think that like most forms of art, it's just radical, extreme, almost transcendental connection. You know, you get to there's another level, even if it's a joke or a story, you're telling a story, or you're on stage doing a play and the crowd's locked in, or you're on a film set and you can just feel that energy of everybody's keyed into what's going on. Or even when you're having a really good conversation with a friend, it goes to some other level. You kind of like, and I just love that. I love that. When it's like you're playing music, and then there's times where it's like, oh, that went well, or we're running through it. But there's other times where just something clicks, and as a group you're humming, and as a crowd how they're enjoying it is like at that next level, and you just sort of ride it. You kind of leave time a little bit and you just kind of surf along, and I'm like, that's kind of the dragon I'm always chasing.
Go back to perfect pitch here. Perfect pitch actually is a blessing and a curse. There's quite the phenomenon with, have you heard of synesthesia?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know all about seeing colors and associating tones to colors.
Yeah.
There's that whole thing. The curse part is when something is off, if a DJ is spinning a track and they either bump it up just a little bit or a little slower,
Yeah.
it's noticeable to them where it's not noticeable to us. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's cool to have, but I've seen it frustrate a lot of people.
I can see that, because part of the thing I love about music, like I got a piano over here, some guitars, like I play most nights, and I love singing. That's I if somebody said, hey, could you want to do a job doing musical theater, I'd probably be like, yeah,
Wow.
I'll give that up. But it's just it's like the feeling, it's the magic to it. That's what I love about it. I've never loved doing music theory, even though I did a decent amount of it. I just love the kind of magic of it. And I would assume if once it becomes perfect pitch, it's almost like math a bit.
It
It's like
is.
numbers, it's binary. You're just like, this is this, and it takes a bit of the magic away.
Now let's pivot to acting. You obviously are probably best known as Lionel from Workin' Moms.
Yeah.
Now I gotta ask, what was it like working with such a powerhouse talent, someone that comes from cinematic royalty, the lovely and talented Miss Catherine Reitman?
Well, that was amazing. Like Catherine's a wildly talented person, and like she didn't have a ton of like directing experience when she came in. She had a little bit. And I remember people being like, "Oh, I wonder what she's going to be like as a director." She was awesome. I mean, like this person grew up on sets with Ivan Reitman, right? And at the very first table read, and the next couple years, Ivan was at the table reads. And I
Oh
remember
my
like the first
gosh.
table read, him coming up and going, "Oh, you're very funny. You're great." I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And he was a very delightful, very warm guy. Like I don't know what he would have been like on other things, but for us, he was great. And yeah, Catherine was super talented. And then like really, I just liked hanging out with Danny and Sadie, who played like I was her husband and the dad, and it was like a little family unit. I'm still in touch with all of them, and yeah, I mean I've been on lots of film and TV over the years, and some has been more noticeable than others. I've been on a lot of shows that have been canceled. I remember being one year, I think it was on 4 or 5 different shows, and it was the last season of all those shows. Like I was like, am I like the death notice of a show? Like if I get cast, does this mean it's gonna get canceled? But but yeah, so it was fun to be on a show that ran 7 years. And no, I did not expect it to be as huge as it was. Like the Netflix effect, because it was on for I think 2 seasons before it was on Netflix. And it was almost overnight. Like I was in LA. I wasn't even in Canada. I was in LA, and all of a sudden, like overnight, people were just coming up to me nonstop. Like I'd be in the park that I'd take my kids to, and people would come up and be like, "Are you that guy from Working Moms?" And I'm like, "Yes." I remember Alphonse from America's Funniest Home Videos
Ribeiro?
yeah, and Fresh Prince came. I was like,
Wow.
"Are you?" Like he was in the park too. So, "Are you?" I'm like, "Are you? Can you do the dance? Are you from
The
Fresh Prince?"
Carlton, the
The
Carlton.
Carlton. So it was a really kind of a weird change to be on this what I thought was, a smaller Canadian show to all of a sudden this really big international hit. And you give up a little bit of anonymity. Like I've been a performer for, 30 years. So I get recognized, and it's cool. It's generally nice when people are like, "Hey, I know you from comedy. I think I love your act," or I'm like, "Oh, that's great." But suddenly when it's that next level where you can't take your kids to Disneyland without people asking for photos and stuff, that was weird. And I appreciate it. I'm always grateful to anybody who's a fan and happy to do photos. But I'm like, God, everybody wants to be, quote, famous. And this is like a tip, you're at like the tip. And I'm like, I don't know if I want much more. Like, it's nice sometimes when you walk into a restaurant, you're trying to get in and there's no reservations and they recognize you and you get in. But a lot of the times you're like, yeah, it's a weird thing to give up your anonymity so much. That's one of the things I love about stand up. Like it's nice when you have fans who come out to see you do shows, but it's also nice when you go to a venue and people, all they know is there's a comedian, and then you just kind of defy their expectations, and then you can get out and you're just like another person again. That's pretty great.
Previously, you were also kind of in the pop culture ether when you were on the Dentine Frostbites commercial.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did
Yeah.
did you used to get recognized for that?
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. The commercials I'd get recognized for. The things I probably got recognized the most for were like, there's some commercials in the early days. That one where my head froze and fell off. That commercial was everywhere.
Did you get to keep that prosthetic head?
I didn't, nope, which is devastating. I always joke that, like, I don't know what some pervert's doing with my fake head. But yeah, that, and then Going the Distance, people really loved that movie. Like there's still to this day, sometimes people will bring the DVD out to sign it. Which it's a shame that movie's not on streaming. I've seen it pop up on like TikTok, like clips from that movie with like millions of views, and nobody knows really what the movie is because you can't find it anymore. So I hope it comes out on streaming at some point. Like when DVDs went out of cycle, I had like a couple different movies that were always in the bargain DVD bin.
Oh boy.
And when they got rid of like the DVD players, I'm like, well, there goes my career. There's my back catalog of work. You can't get this movie, you can't get this movie, but
Now, in the past few years, I noticed you've gotten like really like super lean and jacked, and you've kind of
God bless.
been, I mean, you've been rolling with some pretty fit, like a former UFC fighter or Alberto Crane.
Oh yeah, Alberto
Um,
Crane, yeah.
Tell
I
me about what got you into BJJ and what got you down this journey.
I always wanted to do martial arts. It was just something I always wanted to do. And I was in my 30s, and I'm like, I'm a big advocate of if you want to do something, just do it. Like I meet people all the time, especially like who reach out because they see me on TV and like they're, oh, it's so cool that you're doing this. I always wanted to do that. Or travel. I always wanted to travel. And I'm like, you're a like you have a beautiful house in Calgary or Toronto. Like you clearly have money. The only thing stopping you from traveling or doing a thing is just doing it. And so yeah, I was at a moment where I'm like, I know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really hard, but I may as well just try it. And I tried it, and I am not naturally athletic or anything. Like I got just tooled up. I still get tooled up, but I loved it. And it reminded me of being an open micer again. Like there's something like I kind of want to be good at that. And the only way to be good at that is to do it over and over and over again. So I trained, I started in Toronto. I trained for a long time with Alberto Crane at Legacy in Los Angeles. Right now, I live in Hamilton. I'm training with Jeff Jocelyn, who's also a former UFC fighter.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'm out of sync. Like I've broken my foot. I had a couple like injuries, and I'm so out of shape. I'm just getting absolutely beaten up. But psychologically, it's good to go like, oh, I'm so bad at this still. Only way to get better is to keep going. You know, it's better
Right.
to suck and keep showing up, and then suddenly you're like, oh, maybe I'm not that bad. Than get instant gratification. And then as far as losing weight, like jiu-jitsu is a great form of losing weight. And I also quit drinking. Like that was another thing. I used to drink tons, and you're on the road drinking beer. It's like as soon as you stop drinking beer and you start doing jiu-jitsu, I lost like 40 pounds.
Whoa,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm trying to keep that up. And now I'm in my, I don't know how old you are. You always look perpetually young too, but like, I'm like well into my 40s. And I'm like, if I let it go now, it's done.
Right,
It's never coming back. Yeah, I'm like the only thing is like the gray hair, and then they dye
right.
like when they dye it on shows sometimes. Then they're like, "Oh, you look way younger." But I also like having gray hair. I'm gonna try and lean into the Steve Martin thing, where I'm
Oh,
like,
there.
if I get recognizably gray now, no one will notice when I'm 75. People will still think I look in my 40s.
That's
So
hilarious. It's funny you mention that. Steve Martin has been gray since he was like 28. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He's always looked 50 at least,
always,
right?
always. And you didn't question it at all. It's sort of like guys with shaved heads. They kind of
Right.
freeze in time a little bit. But anyway, I'm a big gym rat. I'm a big like if people want to get back into shape. You don't have to kill yourself. I'm not trying to get like super jacked. I'm never gonna get cast as the vampire hunter. But it's just yeah, it's
And on
good.
top of that, people aren't going to heckle you anymore because they know
Right.
that triangle choke is coming.
Well, it's ironic. You know, I've been in some little altercations, like usually just trying to break up fights, but uh people are like, oh, you must be less scared of fighting now. And I'm like, it's not that. I'm way more aware of how anyone could be good at martial arts or fighting, or even like somebody who's bad at it can still hurt you. Like, yeah, I get more injured from new people sparring because they don't know
Right.
how to control themselves, or they
Right.
fall on your leg weird. That's how my foot got broken. It was like
Oh
a
my
white belt
gosh.
falling on my foot. So it's or I have black eyes, or you get hit in the nose, and it's usually somebody who just doesn't know how to control themselves. So I'm like, no, I have no interest in fighting.
Well, you hear about that in boxing gyms and Muay Thai gyms all the time. It's always the green kid that comes in and just like starts, knocking people out.
Knocking people out and falling up. It's so funny too. Like you ask any guy, it's different in Canada, but like you ask any guy in the States about it, it's like, what's the best form of self-defense? And all the jiu-jitsu guys are like, a gun. A gun. And I'm trying to remember his name. He was a Brazilian world champion. He was shot. He was killed at a party because there was some guy was really drunk and causing problems, and he kind of beat him up and threw him out of the party. The guy was a cop, and the guy just went to his car, got his gun, came back and shot him in the head. And you're like,
What the hell?
yeah. So having a good takedown defense is great, and having know how to do an armbar is great, but it's no defense against a 9 millimeter.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh. Well, let's not end on such a grim note. What can fans expect on Friday?
It's gonna be a fun night. I can't remember the last time I was in Mississauga, and it's just gonna be fun. That's all. I'm just excited to go. I'm excited to do a show close to my house. I like the other comics on the show. It'll be trying out some newer stuff and playing around and some of the bits I've been working on. And usually I'm talking about family and what's going on in Canada and politics a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm going to play it by ear. It's going to be a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of a good night out. And it should be pretty packed. So I recommend getting tickets.
I don't know if you're aware, but this place is called the Franklin House, and
Yeah.
it is known to be a haunted spot.
Is it haunted?
Supposedly.
Oh.
It's listed on Haunted Canada. Yeah. It's a tiny little spot. I've seen bands play there before. There's like a little riser, but it's nice and intimate, so I think it'll be good. I think the tagline for the show is big names, small venues.
Oh,
So
amazing.
it's gonna be a good time. My buddy Ricardo Mejias is opening up as well.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
guys, get your tickets. The tickets are in the link.
This is my favorite kind of show to do now, and it's kind of more than half of my gigs now. I go into like smaller venues and just it's fun because there's not as much expectation, and it's a fun, intimate way to see live entertainment. And also with AI going on and all these American acts coming up, it's a great way to go see live entertainment and Canadian acts. So come on out.
Amazing. Get your tickets at the in the description. Also check out Ryan Belleville's brand new special, Citizen Nowhere. The link is in the description. Ryan, you've been very generous with your time. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you Friday.
Yeah, always a pleasure to chat with you. I appreciate it.